Hey, what's up, guys? It is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today, yes, we are back with a reveal. Today, we're going to be revealing Marc Spelmann's / Shin Lim's performance on AGT The Champions. We're going to be going over this entire trick and routine today. If you haven't seen it, we will link it down below in the description, so make sure you guys go check that out. Now, once again, as all of our reveals go, this is just going to be more theory and speculation over anything else. Obviously, we don't know Shin Lim on a personal basis or Marc Spelmann, so we don't know exactly how the trick is done, and we'll never claim to know exactly how it's done. But we are going to go through some plausible explanations as to how it could be performed. Don't forget, we have a giveaway on the channel. If you guys want to enter, we're giving away $300 of Amazon gift cards. That's going to be three $100 Amazon gift cards. So it's going to add up to 300. So there's going to be 3 winners. If you guys want to enter, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment something in the comment section below. Make sure you guys have your post notifications turned on, and that's really all you have to do, and you will be entered into the giveaway. Now, anyway, like I said, make sure you guys go check out the performance before you watch this reveal. That way you guys get a better understanding of how the trick sort of works, because there's going to be a lot of ins and outs that you guys should understand before watching the video. All right, let's get straight into it. So first thing I'm going to do, just in case any of you guys forgot, I will recap exactly what happened. So the trick is going to start out with Marc Spelmann on stage. He is going to start with his mask completely off. So if you didn't know, Marc Spelmann first went on BGT 2 years ago, just as a normal personality, and then he ended up getting second place on the show as a magician. Fast forward 1 year later, he comes on as this mysterious Magician X with a mask on. He didn't reveal his identity until the very end of the show, his finale, and again, he finished in second place. So this time he's going to come in, he's going to start as Marc Spelmann. He's later going to put his mask on, and he's going to give the line that anybody can be this masked Magician X if they believe they can. And I think that's going to be sort of like the whole mantra behind his entire trick. After that, he's going to have essentially a board of cards. So picture a board here, imagine here. So like right now I'm going to put down, I'll just put down 8 cards. Just picture these as different colors. He's going to have emojis. He's going to have different things on there. And these are all going to be on this supposed clear slate of glass, and that's going to be right up on stage. Basically, he's going to ask Simon to pick a color. Someone else is going to pick an emoji. Someone else is going to pick something else. Someone else is going to pick a number. Okay? So that's sort of how it's going to go. From there, he's going to take that specific card. So let's say, for example, in the actual trick, Simon selected the color yellow. And again, only Simon is allowed to pick the color yellow. And again, he's going to take that color. He's going to put it onto this little stand that he has. Now, again, as I say with most of our reveals, think about everything that the magician does and understand why they're doing it and what they're doing. So the most important thing in this situation is to understand that only one judge is allowed to pick a color. It's not going to be a situation where there's all the cards are essentially the same, or there's just a bunch of different colors. Only one judge is allowed to pick a color. Only one judge is allowed to pick a number. So that's how it's going to start out. Now, there's 2 possible ways that he could have gone about doing this. One is slightly more plausible than the other, so we'll explain that first. The way to do it is similar to a lot of magic tricks, and this uses something that we call the black art principle. So I'm going to explain this right now. So picture this green board now. Instead of it being the glass slate, let's picture this board being that black stand that he's going to put the cards onto. Okay, now imagine this green here was actually black. So imagine that. What he's going to do is he's going to use something called the black art principle, which essentially says that when you take some black piece of paper and you put it on top of black and you look at it from a distance, or you look at it through a lens, such as a camera that we're looking on TV, you're not going to be able to see the difference. Meaning, in this case, if I had a green, sort of something green, now obviously green is a little bit different because there's different shades of green versus black, where there's really just one neutral color there. If this entire thing was black and I had a completely black card and I put it on top through a camera lens and through a distance, you wouldn't be able to see that there was a card on top of it. So the way that we picture that this part of the trick is done is he's going to have to force, obviously, the color. So what he's going to do is, let's say this was that sort of blackboard. He's going to have 4 cards stationed on that stand, okay? Now, each card facing the audience is going to be black. On the other side, however, of each of these cards is going to have their name or their picture on it. So in this case, this one would have Simon's picture, one would have Heidi's picture, and that's just going to be how it is. Now, the last one, is not going to have Howie's picture on it because the last one says Shin Lim on it, so the other one would say Shin Lim. So these are just stationed on that black stand, and again, nobody can see that there's a card that's sitting on it simply because of the black art principle, the black on black idea. So what he's going to do is they're then going to take these cards. So for example, Simon is going to select the color yellow. So he's going to take the yellow card. Picture, imagine this 5 of diamonds was that yellow card. This card here is going to have some sort of adhesive or magnet. Now again, so many ways you can go about doing this. One of the popular magnets that is widely used in Magic is called the Shim magnets, okay? You can actually find these. Shin Lim actually sells them on his website. They're really thin, paper-thin magnets. And this is literally, like, I promise you, just go on Shin Lim's website and you can find it there for yourself, that you could literally just put on each of these cards, one on the back of this one as well, meaning every single card on the board, all the color cards, all the number cards, basically just had a magnet on it, okay? So no matter which one he put down, let's say this was the yellow card, once he puts it onto the board, he's going to line it up perfectly with that card, and now these 2 cards are going to stick, okay? So now the yellow card is going to be the Simon card, right? For example, the next card, whichever one they picked, I think it was an emoji for the next one. Imagine this 4 clubs was an emoji. He's going to set the emoji right on top of the corresponding judge. It's going to stick with the magnet, so the magnet on the magnet is going to stick. A popular way of getting 2 cards to stick. That way, when he flips it over, it's going to reveal the judge. And again, the same thing is going to happen with all 4. Now, this way, it doesn't matter which color Simon picks. It doesn't matter which emoji, which number any of the judges pick, because no matter what they pick, it's just going to have a magnet and it's going to stick on the back. That way, when you flip it over, it's going to reveal the corresponding judge. So that's how that part of the trick is done. Again, using shim magnets. These are very popular in sticking 2 pieces of paper, 2 cards, anything like that. So that's most likely how that first part is done. Now, originally, we were thinking that there was something up with the board and that every single color on the board would have Simon's face on it. Every number would have Howie's face on the back of it. But again, what he did was he did flip it over. Now, the original idea was he would have, imagine that piece of glass right here, and he would have 1 card on each side, and it would be sort of like an illusion, right? Meaning when you have one end here, from one side you're going to see the color, and then the other side, it would just reveal like some fake name. Because you remember when you flipped the board over, all you saw were a bunch of names, right? A bunch of different names on the back of that piece of paper, or on the back of the glass, essentially, right? So the original idea was every single card that was on one side, the back of it had, every single color had Simon's face on it. But the reason that wouldn't work is obviously because that is a clear piece of glass that separates it. And even if he had another card on the back, that would sort of block it. So when he flips it over, you can't see that there were 13 Simons on the back or 10 Simons. That back card did disappear. So there was an empty space where he took the card off, meaning this magnet situation is most likely the most plausible explanation there. Now, finally, the last part, obviously, with Shin Lim, it's a question of how did that Shin Lim happen? Now, if you're wondering how Shin Lim is going to come on stage, if you notice, Marc Spelmann did actually go behind the board to flip it around. So as soon as Marc Spelmann goes behind the board and he does the little flip of the board, the next person you see come out is going to be Shin Lim. Okay, you can obviously tell like the body size is a little bit different, but you can tell that entire thing, that is going to be Shin Lim, and Marc Spelmann from there is going to make his entrance in the back. So throughout the rest of the trick, it just comes down to how did Marc Spelmann or how did X know that Howie was going to say Shin Lim, because it was a free selection, and it was a free selection after the fact, meaning after he already selected his number. Now, the most common, I guess, explanation for that would be the idea that maybe Howie's explained before that Shin Lim is his favorite act. I know Howie's been tweeting about Shin Lim a lot. Shin Lim obviously won AGT and AGT the Champions, which are 2 very big shows, and obviously Shin Lim won both of them. So in terms of asking Howie, Marc Spelmann would have to know, because there's no way Marc Spelmann's going to go in there and not let Howie Mandel pick Shin Lim, because obviously Shin Lim was in the mask. So in terms of that, you could look at it one way, meaning they had a plan B. So if he hadn't said Shin Lim, but most likely it was, they knew that Howie Mandel would openly say Shin Lim was his favorite act, or 2, Howie was in on the trick for some reason, that the producers told him that, you know, you're going to say Shin Lim is your favorite act, And obviously that's going to be for TV purposes because they want the show ratings to be good. And that's obviously a really great way to end the trick, a really great way to end the show, is having Shin Lim appear at the very end. But again, everything sort of has to work in line. He had to have said Shin Lim there, okay? There's literally no way around it. He had to have said Shin Lim because Shin Lim would be on the back of the card, and Shin Lim again appeared in the mask, so that's really the only way of looking at it. But anyway, guys, that is really it for our reveal here today. Let us know in the comment section, do you guys agree? What do you disagree with? That's it for us. This is Card Shuffler 99. Peace out, guys.